I have a lot of films, and it's sort of an archaic and dying pastime to collect movies because we're in a streaming world now. So my room is kind of a relic in that there's a lot of crap that people wouldn't normally buy these days. But I decided to highlight my collection and share with you some of my favorites that I own. But let's see if there's anything in here. Here is one of my favorite films. This is Dazed and Confused. This is directed by Richard Linklater. He became famous because he is one of the early pioneers of the indie film. I like this film because I love a good coming-of-age story. I love a good period piece. And more importantly, it highlights that bond and camaraderie that really only exists in high school.
Say, man, you got a joint?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Because we're so spoiled in that day and age because we think we're going to be friends forever. We think we're going to be young forever. And you don't realize how fast life happens once you're out of high school. It really makes me appreciate high school. Granted that it was traumatic for some of us, but it is an important time. I honestly have to say there hasn't been a time where my bond and camaraderie with friends has been as carefree and as fun as it was back then. And I think this really captures the essence of growing up. So there it is. Here's another good one. This is Go.
Look, I went the last time.
Okay, dead celebrities. Loser goes up.
Omar Sharif.
Steve McQueen.
Michael Lennon.
Hey, Marvin.
It has a very particular look to it that really encompasses what 90s films look like. This was sort of one of the last films that highlighted this particular style of filming. Very druggy looking, very surreal and hazy, like a music video almost. And it highlights the rave culture that was at the height of the 90s. And that was something that I never got to experience, but this is just a fun movie that is very creatively shot. It shoots one particular night from multiple angles, and I always love that. It's kind of like how Pulp Fiction kind of shoots scenes from different angles or different perspectives. And I highly recommend this film if you haven't seen it. It's funny, it's very interesting, and again, it deals with the troubled youth, and that's something that I always really enjoy watching. Here's an interesting one. This is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I want you to picture a bullet inside your head. Can you do that for me?
Fuck you. Anyway, that's ambiguous.
Ambiguous? No, I don't think so.
No, I think he means that when you say picture it inside your head, okay, is that a bullet will be inside your head or picture it in your head, like
Harry,
form an
will you
image?
shut up?
This stars Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. in the midst of him trying to regain his popularity in Hollywood, because before this film, he was sort of written off from Hollywood because of his drug habit. This is one of the films that kind of got him back on track and ultimately led him to becoming cast as Iron Man. A lot of good lines in here, a lot of funny moments in here. It's just a really cool film.
Jesus. Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
Picture me?
No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
I think it's a film that not a lot of people have watched, and personally, I think it's a really good movie. So, give this a shot. I think you'd really like it. This movie is definitely one of my favorite movies. This is Old Boy.
얘기를 하고 싶다고 했더라.
Okay, this is a Korean film. This is Korean cinema. I think Korean cinema is in the forefront of filmmaking. They're very innovative, very creative, and they push the boundary, which is why we see a lot of Hollywood remakes of Korean cinema, or just Asian cinema in general, which is kind of fucked up if you think about it. It's like, just do yourself a favor and watch the original pieces, because they're brilliant. And I don't think Asian cinema gets enough credit for its influence in Hollywood. This movie in particular is a fucking mindfuck. Okay, total masterpiece. And if you don't know what Old Boy is, I don't even want to spoil it. It's a revenge film. It deals with having to deal with your past, and also don't talk shit, I think is the one of the themes and morals of this film. Without giving too much of the story away, it deals with a man who is captured and held prisoner for 15 years without any explanation, no reason. They feed him, they keep him alive, and then they release him without any explanation. It becomes this man's life journey to find out why he was taken. It's also very famous for a very particular scene, the hammer sequence, that was all filmed in one shot in this corridor. Very violent, very twisted, also very humorous too. So, Old Boy, near and dear. Very, very good film. Very good film. This is another one from East Asia. This is Ghost in the Shell. Directors cite it all the time for being an influence in their films. James Cameron cite this film. It deals with the idea of AI, artificial intelligence, and the idea of what makes us human. Although it's an anime, it's drawn to be just like a regular film. They would go on later to make it a live action film with Scarlett Johansson. Again, another instance where America needs to take Asian cinema and turn it into garbage. Watch this and see why this is such a good movie. I love Alien. Alien is probably my favorite horror film. The way it depicts space as just being very isolating and quiet and enough to drive you insane. Because you see films like Star Wars and they make space very colorful and loud. In this film, they make space seem like you're in a submarine, and that's what I like about that, is the feeling of isolation in space. I think that's the tagline for the film, is in space no one can hear you scream. It's horrifying, you know, wondering what the hell is out there, and there's no way to escape because out there is just nothing but space. And so you are ultimately just trapped in this vessel, and that would drive anybody insane. Sigourney, one time. Here we go. This is a tough sell for some people, but this is Wet Hot American Summer. This is a really bizarre, surreal comedy, but there's so many good people that have come out of this movie. It's got Paul Rudd. It's got Amy Poehler. It's got Bradley Cooper in this film.
This is an excuse to do some good musical theater. So be prepared, be enthusiastic, and leave your bullshit attitude and baggage at the door, because we don't need it. Hey, you guys!
It's very odd, very goofy, but again, another coming-of-age film about a bunch of camp counselors trying to get through the last day of summer camp. So many great actors, so many other comedies, so many other things have come out because of this film. So you can thank David Wayne for that. Let's do Clerks.
Are either one of these any good? Sir?
What?
Are either one of these any good?
I don't watch movies.
Okay, this is a good film as well. This is Kevin Smith's first film. This is what broke him into Hollywood. Of course, Kevin Smith would go on to direct other films and become a very successful director in Hollywood because of this film. And also, it's the very first appearance of Jay and Silent Bob.
I feel good today, Silent Bob. We're gonna make some money. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna party, we're gonna get some pussy. I'm gonna fuck this bitch, I'm gonna fuck this bitch. I'll fuck anything that moves.
Because of this film, it really demonstrated that you can do this. Anything is possible if you really work hard, and if you have the talent, and if you're a little lucky, you just might be able to make it. It just brings home that idea that we all know, and that is that working sucks. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter what job you have or how successful you are, there's no moment in time in your life where you don't think work sucks. And if you say that you love your job every day, you're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. Because every day you might enjoy your job, you might appreciate your job, but you can't tell me that you come in day in and day out and thinking that. You're a fucking liar if you say that. If you do say that, I don't trust you. And this movie does a great job of showing you that work sometimes is just the worst fucking thing. And at the same time, working can be really, really cool. And if any of you have ever worked in retail of any form, you know that there's always a particular type of person that comes in that you just cannot forget. And this film also highlights that as well, and that there's particular people that always come into retail that you just cannot stand, that make working that much harder. So, Clerks, for the big dreamer, watch this. This is Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling. This is probably one of the films that people don't watch about Ryan Gosling because everybody knows him for being a heartthrob. But this is really Ryan Gosling demonstrating the reach of his acting skills before he became the Ryan Gosling that we see in films like Drive and all the other things that we see him in now.
Because I'm supposed to do something, right? But what am I supposed to do?
So the story is Ryan Gosling is a school teacher at an inner city school who, on the exterior, is a good mentor. But in his personal life, he is a complete mess. He's a drug addict. He is morbidly depressed. And he just finds himself very conflicted with his public identity and who he is in real life. He then finds himself in an unlikely friendship with one of his students, and at the same time, he's trying to steer her away from the drug world. Yet, ironically, that is something he's very much a part of. This man that is torn between right and wrong because he himself has no idea what that is, to be any of those things. But Ryan Gosling definitely has made some really good choices in his career, and I'm a big fan of him. So please, Half Nelson, give it a watch. Quick honorable mentions. Wayne's World collection, because Wayne's World, both 1 and 2, are very fucking funny. I think this is a case of a series where not only is the first film funny, but the second one is just as good, if not better.
10 o'clock.
Hi, Wayne. Hi.
Hey, are you all right?
Okay, and last but not least, another personal favorite of mine, Tommy Boy. Rest in peace, Chris Farley. And of course, it's got David Spade in it. A lot of good moments, a lot of funny highlights in this film. I can't say enough about this movie. This is a movie that doesn't stop being funny for me.
Did you hear I finally graduated?
Yeah, in just a shade under a decade, too. All right.
You know, a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
So there you have it. That is a look at some of the films that I own. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.